Angels made a wonderful mother who never grows old. In her eyes bright shining stars, in her cheeks fair roses you see. Angels made a wonderful mother, and gave that dear mother to me.
Rainbows are not real. I know this for a fact. Oh yes, I know we have all seen them. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, banded there across the sky. Always in that order, announcing sunshine after rain. But they're not real. I have tried to walk to where they bend to touch the earth, and walked and walked. I expected no pot of gold, for I had already learned who the tooth fairy was, and no longer trusted the myths of foolish adults. But here was evidence before my eyes, and it wanted testing. So I walked and walked. I imagined leaping and dancing in air thick with dewy colors of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, all sparkly around my shoulders. I knew it was but sunlight refracted through billion drops of water, for I had made a smaller rainbow of my own with a small glass prism. I had washed my hands in its variegated color, and let that pocket spectrum play upon my face. Yet how could I miss this chance to dance in a rainbow? And so I walked and walked. I never reached the rainbow. It appeared to recede before me and then disappeared. And I know that rainbows are not real. Rainbows only happen when you are in the right place, at the right time, between the sun and the rain. You cannot claim them, catch them, make them happen. They are a sign of grace, a reminder and a promise. There are no rainbows at night, though. Though once I saw a rainbow around the moon, faint and fleeting, a long shot, bank shot gift from the sun, on a clear, moist night, just after sundown. But that was special. There are no rainbows at noon, at midday, when the sun is overhead. But in the morning and in the afternoon, if you are in right relationship with sunshine and with storm, it can happen. I've seen sunlit days that cried out for a celebration of rainbow. The air so lit and alive, it seemed it must certainly explode into color. And perhaps somewhere that day, someone had a storm to share with sunlight and got her rainbow. But my day was too clear and none came. I have known storms that flexed their watery muscles overhead, so full of ocean waves stolen from the sea that I longed for rainbows, longed for the sun to find a way through that steely grayness to relieve my eye with color. They come, but they do not come when we think we need them. So I have learned to save my rainbows. Since they are not real, it isn't difficult. I always keep a few stashed away in memory for days when storms seem as if they'd never pass. And just as importantly, for days when sunshine drives away all memory of grayness. But mostly I save them for those dark nights when loneliness presses in like a hostile crowd to scoff and belittle every shred of hope. Then I bring my rainbow out, And I know that my aloneness is just as unreal as my rainbow. Both have to do with relationships, which are very, very real. Take care of them, and rainbows like happiness will come by themselves. No, it is important that rainbows are not real. They only exist when you are in right relationship. And waterfalls. Waterfalls are the place where rainbows sometimes stay between the storms. They are much alike, rainbows and waterfalls. Both have to do with relationships. On the flat plain, there are few waterfalls. Falling off the plain or falling onto, sometimes waterfalls are nurtured by the plain, but it takes a change to make a waterfall. That's where the growing shows itself. As rainbows go with sun and storm, waterfalls go with heights, with mountains most especially. You can't imagine the power that a little trick of gravity and water can create. I have seen stones the size of houses cut from ancient mountains by a patient little trickle of water falling. I have squirmed my toes in ground-up bones of the very earth itself, but gravel at the bottom of a waterfall. I have scrambled up a ruins that would do an earthquake proud, to find a gentle little stream gurgling guiltily among the rubble. A waterfall in hiding. I have seen mountains that stood in such splendor one would think they'd last forever, brooding over time into eternity. But I know about waterfalls, and mountains are their plaything. Ancient strength is no match for bright playfulness. I have seen waterfalls make mountains of their own, too. Seen them carve a giant continent of rock face down to sand, layered in an ocean floor at the foot of waterfall. Then come back in 1,000,000 years or so and carve that layered sea floor into chasms, leaving mountains of tilted stripes behind. But sometimes, when the light was right, I have watched mountains making waterfalls as well, seen granite shoulders thrust themselves into the sky to catch the fleeing storm clouds and bathe themselves in rivulets of rain, and thought that waterfalls are mountains' way of moving here to there across the plain. In watching rainbows and waterfalls, I have realized that nothing stays the way it was for long except in memory. Would you prefer your mountains last forever? Not me. The price is waterfalls and rainbows. And waterfalls and rainbows are really all there is.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
the smoothers. Our grandmothers, at tables oceans distant from each other, stroked the edges of the tablecloth, the selfsame gesture, slow repeated. Widows, years from childbearing, all unaware that still their fingers sought to soothe the father's anger, tribulations, colicked souls of sons and daughters lost to restless alien worlds. Smoothing, smoothing, knuckles now too gnarled to sew, crochet, to purl away the pain with mittens, buntings, Afghans, comforters, to pet the baby's fevered face, undo the snarls around our secret fears. Smooth strokes to keep our world from crumpling, so protect us that one day we might come home and sit at table with them, sip some tea and rock and stroke the tablecloth.
Sylvia, a prose poem. She weighed 200 pounds, had dimples and dark red hair. She possessed opinions about everything. She loved the stories of Willicatha, and once after a late tonsillectomy, laughed so hard at a passage from the Decameron, her throat hemorrhaged. She had graduated high school and then married a stern and quiet man who was known only to read the Yiddish newspapers. She had no children except for me, and I was badly in need of such a fairy godmother, for too many believed women were ugly in their curves and folds. But I couldn't believe. I found my Aunt Sylvia's body in Rubens' paintings, and I collected art which were in truth the bodies of beautiful women. And one day I lived to see Botticelli's Venus in the museum at Florence, and I cried because she was one of the women I loved rising from the fitful waters, and to me, Aunt Sylvia was Rubens and Botticelli, and everyone was wrong. I bought my aunt birthday presents, fine, glamorous gifts she would never use. You see, she could think of so many interesting words when we played Ghost, and she didn't let me win even though I was a child. Once, I bought her nylon, see-through, pink panties with velvet polka dots. I bought them in the largest size. But my mother, seeing no sexy pink panties with velvet polka dots would fit my fat pink aunt who wore long corsets and sensible shoes, brought them back. Nor would they have been appropriate for this matron of long corsets, sensible shoes, and a quiet, stern husband.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
If there were anything I could have given to my mom, I would have. She was self-sufficient, and from that podium of herself, she gave royally. Sometimes when she reached out to me, I felt as if she were reaching down. Usually I accepted because I knew her and knew that she was even better than she had any idea she was. And I innately knew that any appreciation I showed was gift enough.
When I went through certain situations and tribulations, sometimes I'd wonder and I'd almost feel it like a thunder. What would my daughter think if she could see me now? I'd want to live better for her, but sometimes I didn't know how. I'd visualize a little girl with vibrant red curly hair, and I'd imagine her checking me out and my lifestyle with this little intense stare. She would have such a loving spirit, and I'd want to make her proud because I knew she could hear it. You see, this was way before she was ever born, but she was alive in my heart and my soul, and this girl was strong. I could feel the rhythm and the beat of her song. To be fair, when I was little, I had flaming red hair, and I had my own unique defensive little stare. Situations arose around me that forced me to act and grow up quickly. I had to become a warrior, even though sometimes I was small-framed and somewhat sickly. Sometimes I'd witness things that were not quite right, violence that was too painful. It was always a fight. That's when I started to write. Started to see with a different kind of sight. Needed to end the violence, break the silence for the next generation. I always knew this was part of my mission without hesitation. But years went by and I never had a child. Was this just a dream or my imagination running wild? Sometimes I'd cry and I didn't know why. I'd yearn for this little spirit to come to earth, but there was just no birth. It was getting late in life, and I made peace with the fact that I was not going to have a baby of my own. Maybe someday I'd eventually adopt a teenager who was troubled, scared, and alone. And finally, that became okay with me because I knew he had a plan and I just couldn't see. Years later, I'm happy to mention, finally I got pregnant. I felt like it was divine intervention. Without totally giving my age away, I was well over 35. That's all I'll say. I had 28 cysts in my uterus, and the doctor said, "I don't think you can do this. How bad do you want this baby? I'm having this child, and I don't mean maybe." Immediately, I named her Marley Simone, and I visualized her on the microphone. Made her a gratitude song from A to Z, and I sang it daily to her when I was pregnant, very off-key. I'm grateful for her light and her love. She's my miracle baby, a gift from above. Marley is my dream come true, and you never know what God has in store for you. Thank you.
I'm 5 years old, it's getting cold. I've got my big coat on. I hear your laugh and look up, smiling at you. I run and run past the pumpkin patch and the tractor rides. Look now, the sky is gold. I hug your legs and fall asleep on the way home. I don't know why all the trees change in the fall, but I know you're not scared of anything at all. Don't know if Snow White's house is near or far away, but I know I had the best day with you today. I'm 13 now and don't know how my friends could be so mean. I come home crying and you hold me tight and grab the keys, and we drive and drive until we found a town far enough away, and we talk and window shop till I forgot all their names. I don't know who I'm gonna talk to now at school, but I know I'm laughing on the car ride home with you. And now I'm trying to find how it's gonna be okay, but I know I had the best day with you today.
Stargazing. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. The speed of light is constant and finite. If the sun fizzed out, we would see 8 minutes after. If the North Star snuffed out, we would see in 434 years. When her light went out, I knew it right away. How can some stars take so long and some stars take so much?
Watermelon, sticky summer loving ball of joy, sweet orb of goodness and my happiness, green like the earth, red like love, white like snow. Spring, summer, or fall, even in the cold, cold days of winter. Seeds as black as night, others as white as sugar. I can feel it raining down my throat, then plop. It wraps me in a sweet cradle of joy. Sister to the lemonade, mother to candy, brother to summer. Oh, sweet watermelon, I love you.
Offspring. I first saw you, grainy, gray, smudged and soft, a Christmas light for a heart. They told us we would lose you, but here you are, Christmas light and all. Then I was sick. Go nowhere, do no thing, just sit and grow you safer. They told us we would lose you, but here you are, running fast past me. I watched you more, grow in pain, grow your shell. Mother love no match for life. They whisper, I will lose you. But here you are, tall and good and kind and strong. When I am old, gray-haired crone, full of sleep, our roles shift newly upside down. You will not lose me, because here you are.
Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? Somehow I cannot hide who I am, though I've tried. Why is my reflection someone?
Makiki Park. You got your pool, your basketball courts, tennis. You got one soccer field and community gardens. Those puke-colored buildings house yoga or aerobics explorations or something. Someone told me they'd get coffee on weekends at the library there, but that library shut down. Funds ran out years ago. Makiki District Park, you will never see yourself on a postcard. The beach is miles away. Your park benches are super uncomfortable, maybe so folks without beds won't sleep there. During early quarantine days, after the Sure Shot closed, I still taught from home. Needing sun, needing relief from cinder block squalor, I'd sit and read there. At the park, I mean. I meant no harm one Sunday. A policeman told me to stop reading.
I had left most of my books at my office before I understood I would not see my office for months. For forgotten reasons, I had an old paperback copy of The Rainbow by D.H. Lawrence at home. Picked it up. I thought the policeman was objecting to reading D.H. Lawrence, but it turns out the whole park was closed. Little birds picked bugs from grass in peace for months as humans stayed away. Makiki Park, you are a calendar. I clock pandemic time by walking past you, walking through you, turning pages as clouds pass by. Yesterday I met Heather and her kid at Makiki Park after school. The place has gone full-on late pandemic dog park. Heather held her puppy's leavings in a longs bag. Her kid surfed concrete at the rat cage under the highway. One day I'm going to start running laps again. For now, I'll sit on this park bench, stare at the pages of some mystery novel about desperate Australians. When I need to pee, I'll walk home. They have public bathrooms at Makiki Park, but the less said about those, the better. Speaking of better, Makiki Park, you probably deserve a better poem. This is the poem you get, though. It's nothing fancy, but neither am I. Neither are you.
Black mama, spark of continuous drama. Black mom, usually hustling, always bustling. Black mother, unlike any other. You gave birth to world. Push, mama, push. Out of utero, world comes. Push, mom, push. You guided world through your birth canal. Push, mother, push. Great galaxies by your side, whispering words of comfort. You labor through the pain. You experience the strain as world shoots through. Birthed. Colicky distress, this world's a mess. Black mama's suckling, greedy babe screams because it don't get enough of your tit. Little fists pounding, throwing a fit. Oh, black mom carefully watches world as she guides, loves, scolds, and finally cries. World grows, appreciation is lost, foolhardiness its cost. Despite, mother continues with an insolent world. Child. The great galaxy whispers in her ear, you are the creator, never, ever a traitor. Black mama, black mom, black mother.
In my daughter's eyes, I am a hero. I am strong and wise, and I know no fear. But the truth is plain to see. She was sent to rescue me. I find reason to believe it's in my daughter's eyes. In my daughter's eyes, everyone is equal. Darkness turns to light, and the world is at peace. This miracle God gave to me gives me strength when I'm weak. I see who I want to be. It's in my daughter's eyes. And when she wraps her hand around my finger, oh, it puts a smile in my heart. Everything becomes a little clearer. I realize what life is all about. It's hanging on when your heart has had enough. It's holding on when you feel like giving up. I see the light. It's in my daughter's eyes. In my daughter's eyes, I can see the future, a reflection of who I am and what will be. And though she'll grow and someday leave, maybe raise a family, I hope one day you will see how happy she made me. And though I'll be there in my daughter's
A hand to hold when the lights go out. Reassurance when there's doubt. Love that fills your heart and soul. Only mama's love can make you whole. She's always there when I need her to be. She's always saying she loves me. She'll always make sure that I'm okay. I'm here and I'm proud to say she's my mom. I'm always gonna be her son. She's my mom, and she'll always be my number one. She's my mom, my mom.
She is my mom and she always will be. She's by my side and she always takes care of me. When I talk to her about my problems, she's there to solve them. Moms, you gotta love them. She's got the sun on the palm of her hand, knowing she was gonna raise a great man. My mom is my number one fan, you know that's a fact. When times get tough, she makes the most of it. Tells me what to do when I roll with it. She makes good deeds. she stays cool like the breeze. She's always supporting my dreams. She puts all her faith in me. You know I love her every day. Now there's one thing left to say. She's my mom. I'm always gonna be her son. She's my mom, and she'll always be my number one. She's my mom, my mom. She's my mom. I'm always gonna be her son. She's my mom, and she'll always be my number one. She's my mom, my mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.